Namaskar. Today I'm going to tell you the story of a brave, courageous, and handsome king. This story is about me. My name is Lalitaditya Muktapida. I have been described as one of the fiercest and most ambitious rulers of the Karakota dynasty of Kashmir. I'm several centuries old now, so I'll do my best to recount the events of my rule. I'll mostly be relying on Pandit Kalhan's account, the Raj Sarangani, to help me remember my long history of conquest. The Karakota dynasty spanned 600 years, from 252 to 852 CE. I ruled from 724 to 760 CE. It is said that I was born in 699 CE to my well-respected father, Durlabhaka Pratapaditya, and my loving mother, Narendra Prabha. After the rule of my two elder brothers, Chandrapida and Dharapida, I ascended the throne at the young age of 25. My dream was Digvijay, to conquer the world.
At this moment in time, I had many opponents in the fight for global domination. Empires were growing and falling all around the world. For example, Emperor Leo III of the Byzantine Empire had just taken the throne. The Middle East saw the overthrow of Marwan II, resulting in the end of the Umayyad Caliphate. The Ghana Empire was established in West Africa. Arabian armies defeated the Chinese Tang dynasty troops in the Battle of Talas, thus conquering Central Asia completely. I had some tough competition, but that did not scare me. Not one bit. For my first challenge, I was faced with the Tibetan Empire and their tribal invaders. I knew that our armies were not strong enough to face such a foe. Even a strong warrior needs to know how to ask for help sometimes, so I requested assistance from the Chinese Tang dynasty in 736 CE. Unfortunately, they were not willing to help my cause. Instead, I called upon my neighbor, Yasho Varmman, king of Kannauj, who was also dealing with the Tibetan threat. We struck up a deal, a solemn promise to rid India of these invaders. With a new ally by my side, I charged into battle with the full force of my army, and I defeated them one by one. The Tibetans, Tokharas, Dharadas, and Kambojas. Never again would the Tibetans even think of fighting against me. Now I had control over Kutch, Turfan, Assam, and Bangladesh. With the Tibetans gone, this left just two great powers in India, Yasho Varmman and myself. It was clear that India simply was not big enough for the both of us. Relations were crumbling. As a last resort, our ministers brought us together to sign a peace treaty. However, one of Yasho Varmman's servants made the grave mistake of placing his name before mine in the treaty. This was absolutely unacceptable. It was a sign of utter disrespect that I simply could not ignore. So what did I do, you may ask? Well, I taught Yasho Varmman a lesson. A lesson that ended in his defeat. By the end of my conflict with Yasho Varmman, I gained the territories of Chhattisgarh, Vanga, Bihar, Jharkhand, and Uttar Pradesh. I even received Yasho Varmman's most famous court poets, Bhakpati, Rajashri, and Bhavabhuti, the author of Malti Madhava.
I now concentrated my efforts on consolidating power on the Indian subcontinent. It was a long but victorious journey. First, I marched east towards Kalinga, and conquered the people of Magadha, Gauda, and Kamarupa. They all submitted to me. I reached the Eastern Sea and followed the coast south. There I happened upon a kingdom ruled by a woman, where all of the subjects were women. This queen, Rati, also submitted to me, with an expression of either anger or admiration. It was difficult to tell which. I went on to take Dakkan, Karnataka, and Dwarka. I allowed my army to rest on the banks of the Kaveri River and drink the sweet wine of coconuts. At this point, I began to head west. I attacked the haughty kings of the south, who underestimated my power. Because of their arrogance, I gained Avanti after crossing the hills of Vidhya. We discovered the land of Kamvada, the land of the finest horses. And you know me, I just had to help myself. With my new horses, I made my way up the western coast of India. As I approached North Kuru, the people, upon hearing my name, fled to the mountains. At last, I returned home, having collected vast riches and added many new territories to my empire. It's no wonder people call me the Alexander of India. My remaining threat came from the west in the form of Arab invaders. Time and time again, the Arabs had tried to conquer India. This one chap in particular, Mu'min, the ruler of Bukhara, had the nerve to wage war against me 4 times. However, the 4th time was the last, as he met my armies outfitted with the latest Tang Dynasty armor. The defeat was so resounding that the Arabs gave up the idea of invading India for centuries. I continued further into their territory, capturing Dardistan, Turkestan, and Transoxiana, which is current-day Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. I soon discovered that Hindus were being mistreated in the Afghan region, so I quickly conquered the Afghanis as well. I ordered the vanquished to shave half the hair off their heads as a symbol of their submission to me. At last, missing my wife and children, I decided to return home. I poured all of the riches my kingdom received from my underlings into beautifying all of Kashmir. I commissioned many temples so that I could give thanks to the gods for my successful conquests. I made a temple in every town, village, river, sea, and island. I built the most famous temple, the Martan Temple, within just 10 years. I dedicated this temple to the sun god, Surya. It sits on top of a plateau in Anantnag, with a beautiful view of the entire Kashmir Valley beneath it. I blended many styles of architecture to create this masterpiece, such as Gandharan, Gupta, Roman, and Greek. It was a beautiful temple, complete with intricate carvings, sweeping arches, and majestic columns. My men and I poured so much blood, sweat, and tears into this temple, only to have Sikandar Butshikan destroy it. But let me tell you this, he struggled immensely with the task. He could not at all demolish the mammoth stone temple. As a last resort, a fire was started to heat the stone. Then cold water was sprinkled on the stones, causing them to crack. Sikandar continued to burn it, and in 13 months, he was finally satisfied. When he dug up the foundation of the temple, a copper plate was discovered, which had the following inscription. Having built this temple, Maharaja was desirous of ascertaining from his astrologers how long it would last, and was informed by them that in 1100 years, a king named Sikandar would destroy it, as well as the other temples in Kashmir. Imagine the look on Sikandar's face when he saw that. That's right, I knew from the beginning that the temple would only last for 1100 years, and that Sikandar would be the one to destroy it. I also commissioned a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva called the Naranag Temple. It is presently located in the Gandarbal district of Kashmir. I took very good care of my subjects. I made sure that the poor never starved. I built a permanent home for the poor where I handed out food, water, and clothing daily. I founded many towns in honor of my expeditions. In every place I conquered, I put a monument to celebrate my victory. I created Sunishtitpura, the city of certainty, because I was certain of my victory on the battlefield. When I took pride in my conquest, I created Darpitpura, the city of pride. I celebrated the fruits of my labor by establishing Phalpura, the city of fruit, located in modern-day Vitasta and Sindhu. I made towns in the middle of the desert so that travelers would not die of thirst. While I was out conquering, my viceroy built and named a town after me called Lalitpura, which I did not like. The town I am most proud of, however, was my capital of Parihaspura, which I preferred over Srinagar. Some have said that my abode was even better than that of Indira. In it, I placed a magnificent silver image of Vishnu named Sri Parihasa Keshava and an image in gold called Sri Muktapida. I used over 80,000 tolas of gold for this task. I had an idol of Buddha that reached up to the sky. I had jewels and riches beyond imagination, which is just the kind of life you can live when you've conquered the world. Now, you might be wondering how I did it all. Well, good question. Just between us, I had superpowers. It was said that in a past life, I had generously given my food and water to a hungry Brahmin during a famine, and for this, I was granted 100 wishes. One time, I was in the desert for 15 days without water. However, this did not affect me. A sound of thunder reverberated through the sky as I began to dig my spear into the desert sand. Water leapt to the surface, and soon enough, a river began to flow. I had created the Kuntavahini River. Now, how cool is that? It is unclear to history exactly how I met my end, but there are 3 theories. I may have died in battle from a sudden avalanche in eastern Iran. Or maybe I immolated myself upon hearing about the defeat of my army in the hopes of dying a noble death. Or I may have lived out the rest of my life in solitude after so much conquering and blood. Well, one thing is for sure. I will never tell.